Yep, you read the title correctly. I'm finally selling the Suzuki C800 after damn near 10 years of ownership. And there's one reason really. So in an older video you might have seen why I love the Suzuki C50, it was titled. I went on to speak about how there's nothing else on the market that really ticks the boxes in the same way this bike does. And up until now I kind of stick by that, but for the past few months I've been eyeing up a Triumph T120, and I have to get one. I really want one. The other reason really is that I don't want to go my entire life riding the same bike, and I can't really afford to, nor do I have space for two bikes. So, do you know what I mean? 10 years of ownership is longer than most people would keep a motorbike, so it's time to pass it on to someone else that will love it as much as I do. So this is just a walk around. I'll do a startup, and I'll talk through all the maintenance and modifications it's got on it, which I've done in previous videos as well, but it'll just be kind of a whistle stop tour. So starting down here, we've got Bridgestone Exedra Max front and rear. A fair amount of tread on them. They're about 5 years old now. Here we have EBC sintered brake pads, and also an aftermarket braided brake hose. Only other mod here is this thing, which came on the bike when I bought it. Brake fluid was changed last year, so that's all good. A few years ago I disassembled the caliper and cleaned it all out as well. As we go up here, these are lower wind deflectors, which are absolutely essential. When you couple these with the screen, you get no buffeting whatsoever. So they're one of my favourite mods actually. In here we just have an LED daytime running light, and an Osram night breaker, which is a dual filament, so that's your low and high beam. Fork oil was changed. That was a bastard of a job, that was. Getting these caps back on was murder. I did that about 4 years ago, I think. I'll have to double check my servicing, because I do all my own servicing, so sometimes I forget to just write things down in the spreadsheet thing I've got, but yeah, I'll have a look anyway. You can see how clean the fluid is here, hopefully. Crystal clear. What else? Whoops. 2-inch risers. I'm 5'11", so they really help. It's just a more relaxed ride. You can just put them back to stock if you prefer, just by undoing these bolts. The cables didn't need to be extended either. They have enough slack on them to bring it up 2 inches, so you don't need to mess with any of that. Got a clip-on throttle lock. It's only about a tenner, I think. Aftermarket grips. They're like Kuriakin. Slight wear on the rubber, but it's minor. What else have we got on here? I've machine polished the paint last year, so it really pops, especially for the age. 2005 bike. The rims as well have very minimal rust, if you can find any at all, because I was treating them with ACF 50, and I tend to wax them as well just to protect them a bit more. I'll just pull this handlebars so you get a better look. I gave it a quick clean and polish yesterday, but I'm kind of short on time, so I didn't go as like OCD as I normally would. Here we have a 12-volt accessory socket wired to the battery and fused, wrapped in a bit of felt tape there. So, and then I use these. You can buy this on eBay. It's like protective wire sheath, so it looks more factory. Oh yeah. Chrome radiator guard. That's one of my favourite mods as well. I love that. Just looks so much better than the black plastic. Engine bars, which came with the bike. I didn't fit those. Sorry, a tractor just came past and ruined my shot. So yeah, these came with the bike. These are highway pegs. You can just flick them up and down with your foot. These are great for the highway, just to stretch your legs out. I put these on. Really like them. Which way round shall I go? I'll go this way round. Oh yeah, bar mounted thermometer. It's not the most accurate, I just think it looks kind of cool. Drinks holder. Not the most useful, because if you put a can of pop in there it gets hot quickly, obviously, for obvious reasons. For a coffee it might be better, but that'll just come straight off if you don't want it. There's the engine. I'll do a slow walk around at the end as well. Got the original toolkit behind this lock thing here, so which includes the tool you use to set the preload on the rear suspension, which is nice. Rider's backrest. This is great. Again, one of my favourite mods. Has the Suzuki logo thing at the back. These saddlebags I'll include with the bike as well. They had a bit of like staining on here where they went white, so I kind of painted it over with some leather dye, which made it look worse really, but other than that they're in good condition. There's a sissy bar and luggage rack, which my helmet is hooked on. You might see it there, but you'll see it in pictures as well. Smaller registration plate there, it will come with the original as well. And then the other chrome accent thing on the fender. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, chrome oil filler cap. The original plastic black one will come with the bike as well. Vance & Hines cruisers. Excellent sound, I really love them. These came with the bike, but when I bought the bike it had the stock exhaust on it, which I'm including with the sale. I basically took that straight off, and it's been in the loft for the past 10 years or so. So that's in really good condition. And I bolted these on. It's a fuel injected bike, so you have the O2, a single O2 sensor there. And I think that's about it for modifications. No, it's not. So I wired a very basic alarm system. I think I've got a spare fob like this, but it's wired to the battery and fuse, so you just press this to arm it. And if someone tampers with the bike, it's basically, it works off vibrations, so it will do a warning, and if someone's still messing about with it, you get that. You press that. So, and that's just I think that just tells you where the bike is if you can't find it in a car park. It's not an immobilizer or nothing like that, and to be honest, most of the time I forget to use it, so you can just disconnect it if you don't want it. The battery is a Moto Bat, which is about 3 years old, so not sure how much more life that's got, but it seems to be doing fine as we are today. So I've always kept it on a trickle charger, so it shouldn't be in terrible condition. And I think that's it. So I'll do a slow walk around and talk about any age-related marks and whatnot, but to be honest, I would say it's in better condition than a bike 10 years younger than it, to be honest, at least. Let's pull the handlebars a bit more straight. So I've showed you the rims. Again, this was machine polish, so pretty spotless. They're plastic mudguards, so they don't rust, and they're also lighter. There's nothing really to report around here. Tank has no dents or anything, no significant scratches. Same with the engine. I was spending quite a bit of time polishing all this yesterday, to be fair, so it's really popping today. Tank's all mint. You get the odd scratch on the tank just from what's it, like the key, the zip on your jacket and things like that. So I don't know if you can pick any out on the footage here. So I'll just pan around again, get my ugly mug in the shot in the reflections. I did drop the bike early in my time with it, but those highway bars, crash bars, make all the difference, as well as the saddlebag. So when I got the bike, it had this little scuff here on the cruises, and then I dropped it once and added to it a little bit there. A little bit there, look, if you can make that out. I mean, kind of nitpicking really, the top one's mint. It's hard to really show the rear wheel, but there we go. Drum brake works fine. Nothing really to note around here. It's a tiny little crack in the plastic just here, which again was there when I got the bike. Don't even know how that would happen, to be fair. Maybe you dropped a spanner on it or something. Don't know. Just come down here to the other wheel and you can see it's pretty mint and rust free. I really am OCD with cleaning and maintenance on my car and my motorbike, to be fair. There's the tank again, and here's the other side. Coolant expansion bottle is behind this chrome cover. You might get the odd water droplet from where I cleaned it yesterday. So maintenance, I'll add the maintenance file, like a screenshot of it on the advert, but this year I've just done the oil change, which is all it needed. I'll tack that onto this video. The air filter is pretty much new, it's only covered about 1,000 miles. Brake pads, they've got so many more miles left. I only changed them about 3 years ago, something like that. Brake fluid was done last year. Fork oil, that's, to be fair, there's not even a service schedule for the fork oil. I just wanted to do it anyway, so that's fine. Spark plugs I changed last year, so they're brand new. They've done about 500 miles maybe. The big jobs on these bikes are the valve clearances, which, if you look on my motorbike playlist, you'll find the video where I talk about how I did it. That was done at 19,000 miles ish, and the bike's on 24,000 now. So I think the schedule's every 15,000, but to be honest, most of them were in spec anyway. They say these bikes should sound a bit like a sewing machine because the valves should be quite loose, because on this bike, on this engine, over time the valves close up, so the bike actually becomes quieter. So it's always best to set them on the looser end of tolerance so you can extend that service schedule, if that makes sense. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. The other known weak point, and you can find YouTube videos of this back in the day, where people have stripped the splines on the final drive, the drive shaft, because Suzuki don't put any moly paste on the splines on either end for some weird reason. So when I had both tyres done, I brought in loose wheels, so I jacked the bike up, took the front wheel off, had the tyre done, jacked the back end up, took the rear wheel out, and when the wheel was out, I disassembled the drive shaft, which you won't really see from here. I can show you if you come to view it. And there's like this dirt seal that you have to hammer out to access the splines on the drive shaft on either side. So I did that, applied a liberal amount of moly paste to the splines on both ends, and the coupler here where it literally, the shaft kind of couples to the rear wheel. Put a new seal in, and that'll be fine now. Some people do it every time they get the tyres changed, but I think that's excessive. It's not really a maintenance item, it's just something Suzuki overlooked, I guess. Oh yeah, final drive oil was changed last year as well. I'll throw that in. I think I've got a bottle of gearbox oil knocking about somewhere, and I'll throw that in if I can find it. Tyres barely lose any PSI. I hadn't ridden it in like 6 months, and both were down by about 3 psi. But that could just be atmospheric, because I would have pumped them up in summer, so changes in temperature affect that as well. Inner tubes were replaced with the tyres, if I remember correctly. I'll just show you the tread. The rear tyre is getting a bit more worn than the front, but still plenty of life in it. Got the pannier support things here as well. I think that's about it for maintenance. Oh yeah, I did the coolant some years ago. I think it was around 2021. There was 1 year where I did basically everything in one go. Just gave it a major service. So I'll have to dig out that on the service schedule. So yeah, I'm kind of going on now anyway. So let me just fire it up. I'll have to pause the video because you have to pull the clutch in while pressing the starter, and I don't have a tripod with me, so bear with. Just fired it up. You can, even though it's fuel injected, you can actually adjust the idle slightly. So under the tank on this side, there's like a thumb screw, and you can turn that clockwise to raise the idle, anti-clockwise to lower it. I always preferred a slightly lower idle, but since I'm selling the bike now, I've put it back to the factory setting, which is a bit higher, so there's less of a lope, but you can kind of play around with it and do what you want. So yeah, that's about it. I'll show you one more time. I guess I can show you the lights, so I'll just put the hazards on. It'll save me doing the indicators individually. Just here. High beam. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, to be fair, so I'll just show you on here. Brake lights. I don't know if you caught that. And yeah, that's about it. I've just taken it out. This is the first ride this year, to be fair, and it fired up no different to any other year. Get that new oil circulating through. I'll give it a quick blast down a dual carriageway, and then put it back ready for viewing. So yeah, hope this helps. I'll be sad to see it go, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, if you own a bike for as long as I've owned this, you're obviously going to build like an emotional attachment with it, but as I said, I can't own the same bike my whole life, and that Triumph T120, it's going to be a whole different seating position, whole different power delivery, completely different engine, different styling, so it's time to try something different basically. But yeah, I've loved this bike, and I really hope like the next owner looks after it as well as I have, because it's a mint bike, like Suzuki build quality, you really can't go wrong. Like the chrome work and everything, the engines are bulletproof. It's never let me down. I can't think of a single time where it's left me by the road. Actually once it did, because I ran out of fuel. So that was my own doing, but apart from that, it's been faultless. So cheers. So it's the 30th of March today, 2025. Just warmed the bike up, ready for the annual service, which this time is just an oil and filter change. Then I'll give it a good clean and polish, and get it ready for sale. So as per usual, I've been using this stuff for years. Really good oil. I think it takes about 3.6 litres, something like that. And just your high flow filter. The bike will come with the special Suzuki tool, which is this. Just put that on the end of a ratchet and it will grip around the filter perfectly, just to make it easier to remove. It's bespoke to Suzuki, so it'll be no good for me when I get a Triumph, so might as well throw it in. So yeah, I'll just get that done. I found I still had a bit of this left from last year, so I'll use that up, use that, and then you can have whatever's left over. Throw in the Haynes manual as well, because again, I'm not going to need it. I have to double check, I'm pretty sure it's 3.6 litres, but I've already done a whole video on changing the oil on this exact bike, so yeah, just carry on. So the oil and filter have been done, just warming it up to make sure it's all good, and then double check the levels. 3.4 litres, not 3.6. It's the bottle there, probably can't see that, but there's about a litre left. You need to get it level, and then only thing I did notice when I first started the bike, it's the first start this year, so it hadn't been started in over 6 months. The daytime running light was flickering, so that might just be because the voltage was a bit low. It seems fine now, so just the got an Osram night breaker for the high beam, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I'll just let that cool a bit and then check the level and top it up if required. So yeah, I'll throw this in, obviously this thing as I said, and the Haynes manual, and you'll be good to go. Nothing else needs doing for the foreseeable, to be honest. I did the brake fluid, I think it was last year. Air filter, I think they're good for 30,000 miles, and I changed that like I think a year or two ago. I even did the fork oil, but I'll do another video and tack these two together after I've given it a good clean and polish and taken it out in the sun, where I can go through like all the mods and basically everything I've done to it in the past 10 years or so that I've owned it. I'm sure there'll be stuff that I miss out, but yeah, all in all, a very reliable machine. So